National Epilepsy Week 2020 falls during a global pandemic. We're hearing an awful lot in these uncertain times about adapting to this new normal. But when you live with epilepsy, uncertain times are the normal. Your life is so unpredictable because of the endless challenges your illness brings. I therefore think it a real blessing that this year's theme is more than seizures, as so many people can speak about the ups and downs of their condition, and seizures don't even need to be mentioned. This is a perfect way to be raising more much needed awareness for a condition that is still so badly stigmatised. One area in particular is the issue of mental health and well-being. All of us think we know what well-being is, and we probably do in essence, but when you are living with epilepsy, the health and happiness, the high life satisfaction, and the sense of a meaning and purpose can be a hell of a lot to take in. I'm going to speak about my personal experiences and how I've tried to manage life with my condition over the last few years. It's been quite turbulent, and my own personal well-being as a result has been a challenge. In 2017, somebody in my community reported me to the police for behaving strangely and aggressively in public. During this time, I was on a drug which resulted in strong side effects, and one particular side effect was uncontrollable anger, which is something that can have a lasting impact on your mental health. Being reported to the police didn't help. The year I came off this drug was the year I took my final A-level exams, and although I passed them, I wasn't physically or mentally well enough to take up my offer at university. It wasn't long after this I started working in London. I was working regular shift patterns, including some late nights, and was reliant on public transport for the first time. A change in routine can be stressful enough, but for me, if I missed a train by 30 seconds and could just see it heading off into the distance, I would then react. I would shout and scream down the platform at the staff and demand that they bring the train back for me because I believed that it was my train. Some days I would simply lie down on the platform just to stop myself from hollering. It seemed to be the only way to hold in the anger. Everyday things that annoy people, such as cyclists going through red lights, became perfect opportunities for me to get unnecessarily confrontational with complete strangers, and often resulted in me looking like a complete fool, and on occasions resulted in the threat of police intervention again. All this took its toll in a major way. I was put on antidepressants and was referred to a neuropsychiatry team. Ever since I was first diagnosed with epilepsy, I like to think that I have achieved something because of it, becoming associated with charities, raising thousands of pounds, winning national awards. However, the last few years have felt at times like, although I've been a part of the epilepsy community, the things that I've achieved are in the past, and that I'm a completely different person, not always for the better. So much of this has been to do with my mental health and well-being, because of what epilepsy has brought with it. Being put on antidepressants, that built up an additional stress, probably the inner voice inside me telling me that I must have been depressed. I knew that I wasn't, but I also knew that something still wasn't quite right. So, last year I had several cognitive behavioural therapy sessions, which made me think about everything even more. It didn't help that outside of this I was entering into what would become a very controlling relationship, but I didn't know that at the time, and as a result of the CBT, I was able to put the other worries that both me and my family had in our lives into perspective, and then I came off the antidepressants. But it doesn't stop there. 2020 was going to be the year that I started driving, having finally been able to apply for my provisional driver's licence. I can't do this now. One morning in February, I woke up with a very defined headache and a bitten tongue. I put two and two together, and my neurologist later confirmed I'd had my first seizure in over 2 years. Thinking about this, the sad irony is that this year I can't drive because of the seizure, even though mentally I'm in a better place, whereas last year I was seizure-free but wouldn't have been mentally stable enough to have responsibility of a vehicle. Over time, it hasn't just been the seizures that have stopped me taking part in everyday activities. It's the mental state the condition has put me in. But in some cases, like getting behind the wheel of a car, that can be the safest thing. epilepsy really is so much more than seizures. So if there are people out there who are struggling to come to terms with everything because of their condition and their mental health, I would say, as I said at the start, it is turbulent. I won't lie and say once you're diagnosed, everything in your journey will be something to get excited about. But I do look forward to everything. I look ahead. And when I look back, I wouldn't change any of it because it's my journey. And I now feel I have much more of a purpose than I did this time last year, and I'm able to start blotting out again anything that causes me or those around me any additional stress. I've heard it too many times, but the old line really is important. Don't ever let your condition define you. But I think you've got to let it in a little bit, because you're not you without it.